Today's AskReddit post. What's a dirty little secret that you know only because you work in the industry? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. Work in large-scale construction. Large developers effectively borrow on the credit of all of the smaller players who are their subcontractors. You have billion-dollar companies asking smaller companies to pay for them with a promise to pay later. The larger the developer, the slower the process is to get paid. If a project goes bust, it's these small guys that get hit, because all of the developers have LLCs that are project specific. No assets to speak of. I've always said construction is the Wild West where the big companies choke the smaller companies. Either way, when one goes out of business, the same people just start a new company and keep working. Enterprise Rent-A-Car buys their cars straight from the manufacturers at a price lower than dealerships get. After they rent them for a year, they sell them to the public at a price higher than they originally paid. One of the shops I worked at did service on Enterprise cars. Doesn't matter what the manufacturer recommends, they all get the cheapest 5W30 regular oil in every car they sent us. Wouldn't pay for the synthetic requirements or even request the correct viscosity. Cheapest tires. White box pads and rotors. Yup, they want the cheapest parts across the board. There isn't a larger than normal call volume. We just don't have enough staff. Also, your call is not important to us. We actually want you to go away. That became obvious when every single company started saying it all the time. Next you'll tell me their menu didn't recently change. I used to work in radio and we totally didn't take caller 10. We maybe counted 1 to 6 and then sorted through the callers until we found an excited sounding voice that fit the target demographic. There are tons of buildings out there that don't meet code, even new construction. Inspectors either don't care, don't know the code, or don't even bother to inspect in the first place. On the plus side, building code is extremely over-conservative, so if you get close it's probably safe. Maybe, most of the time, except when it's not, and then everyone gets sued. 3 to 4 of my friends who purchased houses/condos in the last 5 years have had to do extensive, like 25-30% the value of the property, repairs because of bad construction work. Inspectors didn't notice poop. I work in the medical field. This isn't really about my field exactly, but an adjacent field, health insurance. There is a guy reviewing our notes looking for reasons to deny a claim. The guy reviewing generally has no clinical knowledge whatsoever, but they are looking for certain keywords, so they can stamp the denial on the claim. For this reason, I will omit certain things on the clinical notes if it isn't directly applicable to what I'm treating, because I know from experience that they will use that word as an indication that the proposed treatment is inappropriate and therefore denied. I learned this the hard way when my daughter was denied allergy testing. Twice. I appealed and won. But seriously, allergy testing? Exclamation mark. My other daughter was denied a lip/tongue tie surgery, but the doctor himself actually appealed. That one for me. Apparently he's had to do it a lot because insurance companies just think it's only an issue for breastfeeding and you can just formula feed instead. This one is fairly well known, but I'm just confirming its truth as someone that used to work in a factory. The brand you buy doesn't always matter. Sometimes it's all the same stuff that comes out of the same vats, but just labeled differently and sold at different price ranges. I work in a bottling plant. It's an independent Pepsi bottler. We make Aquafina and also our own labeled water. It's 100% the same thing. Same bottle, same water, same standards, same caps. Only difference is the label. We don't even stop running when we switch from Aquafina to our water. They just stop the labeler, change the label, and keep going. Never buy name brand water. As a cybersecurity consultant I can tell you many companies I have worked with are when they are hacked, not if they are hacked. Some orgs have people in charge of cybersecurity that barely know how basic protocols and technologies work. Also, I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to provide analysis, and after I present my findings half of my recommendations are met with "yeah, our end users might complain." We are not gonna do that. I'm working at a sports club with way over 2,000 members and I can tell you, you might sign some paper about data security and how we handle data. But believe me, your data will go places you don't want it to go. My cousin worked hours for a 250 employee company. She had all of the information from everyone on her personal laptop because they never gave her a work laptop. Salaries, SSN, addresses, everything. I like to remind our clients that in our age of working from home, the hour manager's son trying to download hacks for Fortnite or similar is likely one of their biggest security risks. I'm an insurance. If you call to request an estimate for a claim, they will count it as a $0 claim on your file when they deem the damage not enough to repair. That means when another company pulls your information, it will not only impact your future rates, but might make you ineligible for future policies. Don't ever call insurance for an estimate first. Get a third-party inspector to tell you whether you should file with insurance. Yo, this happened to me. I had a crack in my windshield and called to see if it was covered. They said yeah, but it was $500 for a deductible, so I declined and went to repair it at a local shop. Couple of years later I was dealing with another insurance about something else, and they said that I had made a claim on a windshield repair a few years ago. I was like, WTF? Exclamation mark. Question mark? Exclamation mark. Printers aren't smart enough to know the amount of ink/toner is left in the cartridge. They guess based on usage percentages and only know when they are empty. Low toner doesn't mean replacement. It means have one on hand. Beer taps at bars and restaurants are not always clean and can be very dirty. Same with the inside of soda spouts. When I worked as a waiter, cleaning those was a nightly duty. I'm no longer shocked by the vast amount of software we all use on a daily basis that is rushed into production. Shoddy, insecure, held together with spit and band-aids, etc. etc. I'm amazed everything hasn't just collapsed into dust already. In a lot of cases, the fancier the marketing, the messier the management. I own a sign shop, and I can tell you with 100% certainty that almost all businesses fail within the first year. If you think you are going to open a restaurant or a boutique, you are about to lose a bunch of money. Also, no matter what business you want to start, go talk to your local sign guy and ask how many businesses have been in that location and failed. Trust me, we know which locations are cursed. Entrepreneur, hello. I was thinking about opening a sign shop, but heard on Reddit that I should ask you first. Windcomer, don't do it. You will fail. Entrepreneur, OMG. Thank you for your altruistic assistance. Windcomer, / suppresses monopolistic laugh. Car part manufacturers know that aftermarket sellers, local repair shops, but also DIY places like AutoZone, don't have the testing capabilities like OEM manufacturers, so will sometimes ship them questionable and or outright defective parts. I was in Canada supplier. Top grade parts went OEM. Defects below a certain size went aftermarket. We were not allowed to know who aftermarket was. Will writer in the UK here. If you have £325k in assets or less, and you don't intend to exclude anyone from your will, you need a bog standard will. You don't need a solicitor to write it. And if it costs you more than £150 plus VAT, then it's a rip-off. It takes me about an hour's worth of work to gather information and write that will. I would recommend getting power of attorney though. It's a pain in the ass if you lose capacity without it. What about if you have over £325k? I'm looking at getting a will done and just used a template off the internet as a stopgap. But some of the fees to get it done by a solicitor seem extremely high. Reading these posts, the general takeaways are: everything is dirty, everyone is incompetent and lazy, everyone wants money, if they can get it, by skipping something they do. People cleaning their underwear in kettles is a huge problem in hotels. We find so many forgotten underpants in the kettles that I can't even assume how many we didn't catch. Don't use them. If you want a nicer room in a hotel, book under professor. Drive / your name / that makes you way more likely to be bumped up. When you're traveling privately, take a card from any hotel testing company with you and give it to the reception when you arrive to enter as the address for your bill. Staff will be extra nice to you. If you want to steal towels from your hotel, don't steal them on the day you're leaving. Just put one in your suitcase day after day and throw the remaining towels on a stack on the floor. Housekeeping will most likely not count them because they don't have the time, and put a full amount of new towels in your room. As long as a full set is there when you're leaving, you'll be fine. We keep records about who was nice and who wasn't in our system. If you were nice, you're more likely to be bumped up. Drugs don't turn into poison the second they expire. Most medications are going to be effective 4 years after they expire. Manufacturers put expiry dates on their stuff to cover their assets. They have to guarantee 95% effectiveness until that date. As long as it isn't an antiviral or antibiotic, you can probably use it for years after it expires with no issues. Or rescue drugs such as insulin or EpiPens. Most other meds just lose some of the effectiveness, but are still okay to take for up to years after the expiration date. All phone sales are poorly trained, lying, or both. That is why your bill is always messed up. After leaving a store, I switched to T-Mobile because they are the only carrier with service in my town. If there were options, I would have left them almost immediately because of how much the store employees and customer service reps lie about the perks. I was told that by switching from Verizon I would get a $400 accessory credit that would apply no later than the second bill. When it wasn't applied to the third bill, I called customer service and they said that's not a perk that was ever offered, and I was on the hook for an extra $400. When I signed up, I was told I would get free Netflix without ads for life, so long as I remained a customer. Well, I now have to pay $8 a month, still cheaper than if I got it on my own. I know, and when I called customer service I was told that the sales rep should have worded it better. There is absolutely no desire by T-Mobile to rectify mistakes and lies made by their store employees. The education system in America is ducked because of contracted employees. I work for an organization called Solient. They own 4 different staffing companies and special education. We place special education teachers, speech pathologist, school psychologist, paraprofessionals and such. We pay our employees 60% of what we charge the schools on an hourly basis. It's a bit more than what a government employee could make, and we keep that margin razor thin. Our executives act like we are doing good work, but we are pulling hundreds on millions of dollars out of educators' pockets and out of schools. We pay lobbying firms to keep it this way as special ed is federally funded. We aren't the only firm that does this, but our org is specifically bad because we have 4 sister companies that work together to drive prices up. Our parent company doesn't care which of our companies makes the money, so we constantly bid up work against our own. Always wash your new clothing before you wear it, even if it looks fresh and new. It's been thrown on the floor, moved around a dusty warehouse, tried on by a sweaty post-gym person, and probably sat in a stinky, humid shipping container for 2 months. Plus, you wanna wash off all the starching / finishing products which make it look so new. I used to unbox clothes fresh from shipment and they would be damp. My boss told me it was something sprayed on to prevent mold growing during shipping. Also, people are disgusting. You would not believe the smell in the fitting room after some people finish trying on clothes. Wash clothes before you wear them. One time the smell was so bad after a woman left, I was on my hands and knees looking for where she hid the poop she took. Called my boss in, and she said that was just swamp crotch. I have a master's degree in exercise science and have worked in the industry for 25 years. 90% of what trainers say and do is fluff and just used to keep you interested and make it sound like they are worth their price. TBF. For most people, they get a PT because they need to stay interested, so that makes them worth the price. I've known busy PTs that outright tell their clients that too. Not disagreeing with you, just agreeing with you in a nuanced way. Medical debt under $500 doesn't affect your credit score. If you can also ignore a debt for 7 years, don't acknowledge that it's yours. Don't make a payment. Don't even answer the call from collections. That falls off eventually as well. Not hard really. Just don't answer unknown numbers. Never answer the phone with "this is your name. Hello. I'm calling to speak with so/so. Who is this and what are you calling about?" If they decline to give you that info, hang up. Block the number. I worked weddings for a few years. The fact that people would pay upwards of $100 to $150 a plate is crazy. That food is not worth that much money. In fact, the wedding industry as a whole is an insane cash grab, and I never knew until I was in it. My husband and I made a couple of the food items ourselves the night before the wedding to save money on the catering bill, and I always look back on it fondly. We sat at our kitchen table and made 200 pigs in blankets from canned Pillsbury Crescent rolled dough and cut up hot dogs, laughing away our butterflies together about how the next day would go. If I wanted to order those from the caterer, it would have been $175, and we did it for $15. We touch your food with our hands. Yes, we do wash our hands. People wear gloves because they think it protects them from the food. They don't wash their hands. Just wear gloves for an entire 12-hour shift. I saw a 711 worker who was buttering the rolls with latex gloves on. In between, she was serving customers and handling money and other items while still wearing the gloves, then went straight back to buttering the rolls with the same gloves on. I used to be in the insurance industry. Their target for you to have a life insurance policy is about 10 years. After that, they passive aggressively try to get you to / allow you to forget to pay it anymore. And it lapses. By then, they've made enough to cover the initial commission paid out, plus a good amount extra. And if the policy lapsed before you died, then they have to pay out *NOTHING*. When you say get you / allow you mean by not sending out statements / reminders to pay the policy? It's staff, even highly paid ones, Google most problems. We are just better at it than you, given we also understand how to apply what we found, but still. The grad students teaching your classes sometimes have more direct power over your grade than your professor. Please be nice to us. Not even to get a good grade. Just please be nice to us, because we're stressed and tired. As a former waiter, have you really not been helped yet? Wow. I'm so sorry. I'll take care of you, even though this isn't my section. Means, I completely forgot which tables are in my section, and was just made aware. This is one of them. Everyone knows gyms are dirty, but no one knows *HOW* dirty. When you finish a workout, scrub your hands with hot soapy water. Get between your fingers, under your nails, your palms, as if you've been touching raw chicken. They clean everything at night. No, we do not. Seeing people touch bubbles and then their mouths. Use the sanitizer that's provided, folks. Stagehand here. Most famous musicians are a total douchebags * off stage. I've worked with a few good apples, and they're the ones that have been touring for decades usually. I absolutely loved working with Dave Grohl / Foo Fighters. Took everyone out for drinks and food after every show. Treated everyone with respect. Helped a lot with Stagehand work. Got to talk with him about life and laugh for a good while. Best person / band by far I ever worked with. He always left early though, after putting down a tab at the restaurant, because he wanted to spend time with his kids over FaceTime before they went to sleep. Great guy. Maybe not a dirty secret, but I work in the VFX industry and was shocked when I first learned how much beauty work is done on actresses. All those famous middle-aged and older women that have aged so well. Yeah, we've gone in and removed their wrinkles, crow's feet, saggy neck, etc. Removing acne and acne scars from young performers was also a common occurrence. No wonder women and girls struggle so much with body image. The way the restaurant industry is literally run on drugs. typically cocaine and or amphetamines. Anthony Bourdain wrote about this extensively, and I found it to be true when I was working on a line in my 20s. But even then I sort of assumed it was more of a city thing. I did most of my restaurant work in Toronto. Just a couple years ago, the tiny town in Ontario that my parents live in had a big local scandal when the head chef of one of the restaurants in town was arrested for cocaine possession. It's everywhere. Can confirm. Everyone in the kitchen is on drugs. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.